It's not New York, and it's not LA. This is the stage that launched a million laughs. The main stage at the Second City Theater in Chicago. Here, ghosts haunt the halls.
My name is Craig Baker. I'm in your history school class. I seem to have missed your final exam.
The legends who made the leap from this stage to stardom.
My name is Matt Foley. I am 35 years old, and I live in a van down by the river.
But there's more to Second City than just the main stage. Welcome to the Harvard of Comedy, the Second City Training Center. Located 2 floors up from the main stage and a world away, the training center schools hundreds of hopefuls every year in the fine art of being funny. It's comedy as a serious business. Students pay up to $1,000 for the privilege of taking classes here. For most, the dream is the same.
What I want to do is be on main stage.
On the main stage.
Of course, main stage.
And so is the reality.
Everyone wants to end up on that stage, and the bulk of them don't. We hold auditions generally once a year, and we see anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people, and we're maybe hiring 2.
But despite the odds, they persist, driven by the hope that maybe someday they'll be the ones standing up there. The main stage's latest legend and Second City's newest ghost. It may not look like it, but these people are preparing for their final exam.
Number 6, number 3.
Number 3, number 5.
Meet the members of My Mother Thinks I'm on Main Stage, an ensemble of 13 students from the Second City Training Center. Here at the training center, these are the seniors, the 5th of 5 levels of classes.
You want to go for it strong, and that way...
It's October of 2002, and they've been rehearsing for almost a month, improvising material and shaping it into an hour-long comedy review.
It's going to be harder to cover up, so just go.
They're about to face their final test. 4 performances over the next 4 weeks on Second City's second stage, culminating in one final graduation show.
It's a hard life.
For better and for worse, they're in this together. It's the paradox of improv. The only way to stand out is to make your teammates look good.
Go to sleep! Go to sleep, Rob!
It's like being in a platoon or something like that in the Army. You can't choose these people, but they're yours.
This is their last chance to make an impression on a talent scout, a Hollywood agent, or one of the star makers at Second City itself. After this, they're on their own.
Got your back, and you got your back.
When I first arrived at the Second City, it was really overwhelming. It's huge. As much as people will admit it or won't, everyone here has the dream of being on one of the stages.
And the dating pool you're swimming in has got you feeling blue.
One thing I've learned is that funny comes from pain. Everybody's funny comes from their own personal place of pain.
When your love life's in the cracker, there's only one way out.
Yeah, I'm not, tall, thin, glamorous.
It's time to lower your standards.
And I found in the theater world that was very limiting for me.
Shaking yourself.
Here, I create my own destiny. I play whoever I want, and no one goes, yeah, you're not that type.
She's like a really grounded actress. What she provides for you on stage is she's a calming effect on stage, which she's not necessarily like that in real life.
I have a lovely day job working as the administrative associate for the CFO of a commercial real estate company in the Loop.
It's quite a balance, especially when you have shows. You leave here at 5:30, you get your makeup on, you get changed, freshened up, and then you have to somehow conjure up enough energy to completely, you know, fill up this whole house.
Oh yeah? How old are you?
I'm 19.
Are you retarded?
You know, it took a while before I felt comfortable. I expected at any moment I would be found out as a fraud and thrown out.
The Louvre.
The Louvre. Is that the one with them works of art by all them old masters? They got you got the Rodin, the Del Greco, and who's that dang helicopter inventing dude?
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci, that's the one with the Mona Lisa. I swear to God, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, them freaking Italians had a stranglehold on that Renaissance art.
We spent probably the first 3 or 4 levels of our training here pretending we weren't even married. Not really to that degree, but we would sit on opposite sides of the room and not discuss it.
And then we were just like, okay, this is ridiculous.
We're both really lucky to have jobs that are into what we do and support us to the best of their ability. Outside of the Second City, I work at an interior design firm in the Loop. I'm a receptionist. Good afternoon, the Environments Group. I think we both sort of detest the term starving actor. I'm a starving actor. Get a job.
Next week, 8.
They're the anchors of that class, clearly. You guys, did my running order ever get through?
Yeah.
They count on them. I'm not saying there probably isn't some resentment that they seem to be the strongest people in the class and that people like to follow them around with a camera.
Nobody else in class has that dynamic. No one else in that class has someone like a husband and wife have each other's back.
Well, the vibe for that is, you know, pretty much in any improvising community, which just means they are having sex, so they're way better than you.
Man, no.
Oh, I was so ticked off, man. I almost just walked out right there. I was like, Eli.
You should quit that job, man.
Oh, man.
You gotta quit.
This is crazy.
I wish I was there, dude. I never would have let him do that to you. I would have kicked his ass, man.
How come we've never kissed?
My personality, I think I tend to be slightly a little neurotic.
He ends up being about the most interesting person to watch on stage because he's the person you want to be on the fly on the wall for in real life. You're like, what happens when he leaves? Does he go home?
My Merck Manual of Medical Health, which I am trying to stop reading. The chessboard for when I start dating women who are intellectual. This is the first thing I've ever gotten framed professionally. Where's my stuff? Right over here. I am a business development manager. I write proposals. What brought me to Second City was I felt like there was something that I just wasn't getting from my life.
He knows everyone liked him in the class, but now it's kind of like proving to him in front of the audience that something he had maybe suspected, but was, you know, just praying for, that people like him on stage.
It's an addiction, you know? I mean, why would you take so much rejection unless you just loved it? And I just have a passion for it.
We like to collaborate. And I think the best part about it is that we do tend to work together really well.
You ever see a green light just flashing, go, go, go? Fair enough.
Some people say I'm a little slow.
You know I kill me retards.
Yeah, I kill me retards too.
So Lolita came about pretty much exactly like this, laying on the couch late one night, making ourselves laugh. Just some stupid thing. It was like, hey,
Hi.
hey, Hey. We can wake up at 3 in the morning and say, hey, I have this idea. Let's, you know, flesh it out on paper or just discuss how it should go, you know, on the way to class.
So it's fun playing, you know, creating Southern characters that are very stereotypical, but then so not. And it's kind of heady and smart.
Oh, the S-curve. You mean the chiaroscuro?
Actually, chiaroscuro was the delicate interplay between light and shadow. I believe the term you were grasping for was contrapposto.
When you see a stand-up comedian perform, obviously they have a polished set. People that improvise and do sketch comedy are driven to do it over and over again because you don't always know, ideally, what's going to get a laugh.
What it's about is more than one person coming together creates something that is far hipper than what one person could create by themselves.
The dynamic within our class, it's divisive right now.
I'm hoping for the best possible show, you know, that highlights me well.
My group is kind of a freak show. No two of them are the same.
Like any big family, there's a arguing and dissension within the ranks.
We've had 4 weeks of previews, and now we have 4 weeks of final show.
This is sort of the crowning achievement of our Second City life. People are not messing around with this, not when fame and fortune are on the line.
Generation after generation of comedy greats have all traveled through this place. So it's logical that anyone coming here to train thinks that they might have that shot. You know, they want the brass ring. They want to get on the main stage. They want to see their name go on that alumni list.
It's a list that goes on and on. Gilda Radner, Mike Myers, even the voice of Homer Simpson, Dan Castellaneta. All of them were schooled in the Second City formula. It's an inspiring legacy and more than a little intimidating. For the members of My Mother Thinks I'm on Main Stage, the next 4 weeks may make or break their careers. Meanwhile, for a whole new batch of seniors, the hard work is just getting started. October 2002. At the Second City Training Center in Chicago, the members of My Mother Thinks I'm on Main Stage are preparing for the first of their 4 Level 5 shows. The stakes are high. After a year and a half of classes, it's their last chance to catch the eye of someone in Second City.
To be members of the Second City ensemble, that's almost mathematically impossible.
What I want to do is be on main stage. That'd be pretty cool.
Of course I would want to be on one of the stages. It's a pretty big dream. And, you know, I'll admit to having that dream.
But as they try to look ahead to life after Second City, they're also looking over their shoulders at the class coming up right behind them.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
These are the incoming Level 5 students, next semester's graduating class. And a constant reminder that at the Second City Training Center, the comedy assembly line never stops.
It's an extraordinarily competitive environment. I mean, I don't know if it's as bad as, say, being in high school, but it's pretty bad.
The new Level 5s are just starting their final 8 weeks of classes. Here they'll learn the formula that's been Second City's signature for more than 40 years. The alchemy of turning improvised ideas into a show's worth of comic gold.
Yippee! I love little kangaroo! I can't. Damn it!
And the way this is set up is that it's like a microcosm of a Second City process. So if you're putting up a resident company show on the main stage, you would do this same process. Of course, you would have a lot more time to do it in, and the pressure would be a great deal. more.
The search for material starts as early as the first day of class.
You generate as much material as humanly possible, and then you start refining the material that obviously sticks in the show.
To get the juices flowing, teacher Ann Libra has her students play a brainstorming game called Power Improv.
Don't worry, just keep jumping out. There's no, you know, and I'll be calling scene, 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 scene. Everything's going to go on for like 15, 20 seconds.
The idea is to crank out one scene after another as quickly as possible.
There's nothing like eating chicken and watching people golf.
Sing!
Someone is a little slobber than usual today.
Sing!
It's like writing the first line of 50 different short stories in 5 minutes.
I told you I was afraid of birds!
I didn't know. Seriously, snowmobiles aren't dangerous. Just get on.
All the while, Ann keeps a running log of the ideas that pop up, just in case something inspired happens.
Well, that's one less mouth to feed.
Nothing does.
This is really hard. And I think they get really down on themselves when it doesn't go well and not understanding that what they're doing is really hard.
Right now, you know, we're still kind of beginners, and we're fast, and we're just loud, and it's kind of sloppy right now.
To jumpstart the process, Ann decides to give her students an assignment. She breaks up the class into small groups and hands each a premise to base a scene on.
Yeah, it's not.
For this group, the premise is something you'd see in a movie.
It could be about any situation.
It's like a movie.
That's like a movie to us.
After a few minutes of discussion, they decide to improvise a scene in which a family gets bad news from a doctor.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Your parents were in a car accident. And it's not good.
Oh.
Both of them are in a vegetable state. And there's no coming out of it. They are on life support right now.
The scene ends up more depressing than funny. Afterwards, the class tries to figure out what can be done to salvage it.
Reality-based. He needs to be just like a regular doctor, you know?
The twist they come up with? Instead of reacting somberly to a tragic accident, they'll react hysterically to a minor one.
They broke their legs and we think we are from the
Yes, exactly.
They have to be killed.
They're suffering.
I'm staying through the night. I don't care what you say.
Yes, exactly.
5 nights later, the group gets a chance to test drive the new scene, this time on stage, during an early improv set in one of Second City's smaller theaters.
The point is for the incoming level 5s to get used to performing on the stage in front of an audience.
We get to see what works and we get to see what doesn't, and that's what's exciting about it. It is a lab. We're testing it out. We're putting those chemicals together and see whether we make an explosion or not.
Yeah, try out material in front of an audience and see how they react. An audience is a great teacher in itself.
The lesson they're hoping to avoid is an all too common one for improvisers.
The second time you improv something is almost always the worst.
We call it second time blues.
Because you try to recreate what you did, even though you try not to.
You get in your head and think, where were the jokes, and where was I sitting, and what was she saying, and I'm pretty sure her name was Chrissy.
All that garbage starts to go on, and it interferes with them just improvising.
Hi, you're the Baldwins?
Yeah.
Yes.
Doc, tell it to us straight.
Tonight, the scene seems to start off well.
Your parents were in an automobile accident.
Yes, we know.
And your father, they were both restrained in their vehicle. And your father suffered a fractured clavicle. And your mom has a very small laceration to her arm.
No!
But as it goes on,
They glued her!
Super glue.
and on,
Listen.
You can't lie to us!
and on,
Stop the drip, pull the plug, yank the cord.
it starts to look more like a case of the second time blues.
The first show is always tough. Just getting through that first show where it's all new material without losing your minds and running into each other is enough.
In the end, it's a movie, is just one of dozens of different scenes this class will develop as they try to craft enough funny material to make their mark. Meanwhile, the class above them is about to find out if all of their work has paid off. But when they take the stage, one scene threatens to spark a civil war.
It's a little hard to follow up two men ejaculating on each other with my song.
From tonight, we will be completely done with the Second City Training Center.
October 21st, 2002. Showtime for the team My Mother Thinks I'm on Main Stage, this semester's graduating class at the Second City Training Center in Chicago.
I think stage fright is good. I get nervous, and I just have to remember to focus that energy and not let the jitters control me.
Before a performance, I am always on edge. I'm very nervous. My palms are very sweaty. But to some extent, I think I might enjoy it. The more scared you are, I think the more excitement it is when you conquer the beast.
But that will give us a little more room between songs too. And you guys know this show tonight is more important than every other show, right? Yes.
For the past few weeks, they've been in improv boot camp, desperately churning out enough material for an hour-long show. They'll soon find out, from a paying audience, if any of it is actually funny.
It's crazy back there. There's a lot going on. There's 13 people crammed backstage, and everybody's got different things on their minds.
It's a process that demands trust and teamwork, two ingredients that this group is finding to be in short supply.
Unfortunately, our class has not been the most cohesive of units recently.
It's competitive to some extent because here we are in the final weeks and everybody wants their stuff in the show.
Chicago, the Windy City. Scream all you like, Johnny Terror.
People want to make a career of this, so it's survival of the fittest.
Thank you,
Hello, thank you for coming out tonight. We are My Mother Thinks I'm on Main Stage.
There are some people who prefer really subtle, highbrow comedy, and then there are others who want, they want to gross people out.
Gentlemen, your cubicles are ready.
Thanks.
First time I saw dueling donors, I was completely offended. Just gross. It's two guys masturbating to the tune of dueling banjos.
The reason they get to do that is it's surrounded by smart stuff. Because also people can't take smart stuff forever either. You got to pay it off with, butts.
And eventually they on each other. Using non-dairy creamers.
It's a very, very crude scene, and I admit that, but it also gets the biggest reaction out of the audience.
When you have a gross out scene like that, how can you top that?
Hi, yeah. Melissa?
Yeah!
Oh, hey, I didn't recognize you.
For as much as, I think their humor is crass and cheap, they might think mine is lame.
You're a little different than how you describe yourself.
I don't know what you're talking about. 5'8"?
Yeah.
Wayfish?
Yeah.
I have a song that I wrote for the show called Ugly People.
It's time to lower your standards. Take a look in the mirror. You're no spring chicken yourself.
And I realized everyone, no matter how beautiful you are, can relate to that. Because everyone has been told you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough.
There's one special fat girl who won't mind all that back hair. Oh, ugly people need love too. Yeah, ugly people need love too.
I think there are two styles of comedy battling it out. There's the thinking comedy, stuff that has thought behind it that possibly has a message, and then there's jack-off scenes.
I am Zoltar, Lord of Improv. Next, I will perform an improvised song. I need a household item in which to sing about. Spatula. Spatula, thank you. And now I need a style of music. Techno. Techno, thank you. Spat! 2, 1, and sing!
The class is somewhat divided on the masturbation sketch as to whether or not that's tasteful.
Yeah, Melissa had to sing after that whacking off scene.
Just gross, dirty, cheap, juvenile humor.
You know, it's there's a lot of really dumb stuff in our show, but there's a lot of really smart stuff too, and it's unfortunate that two guys popping creamer on each other as if it was semen gets the biggest laugh in the show. Yeah.
I think we're doing a level 5 show, having a holier-than-thou attitude about humor is not needed. We're just out there to have fun. We're trying out things.
We've got 13 people.
All right. Good show, everybody. Good job.
Yeah. 13 different backgrounds. 13 different commitments to themselves in the theatrical world. You know, some people are just hobbyists and they don't plan on doing anything here.
The people that condemn other people for not being serious enough are people that are very insecure. You know, it's my way or the highway. It's like, okay, get your own when you have your own show, when you're Sid Caesar, talk to me. Otherwise, shut the hell up and like support each other.
I'm gonna send an email out tomorrow because this whole leaving props out on the stage is ridiculous.
Well, I don't know why the enemy
It looks
combatant
bad.
skits props were left out.
Yeah, they were just left out on the floor. Stuff was left on the piano, so I got out there and there's stuff on the piano. Matt knows I have to sit on the piano twice. And I said, you can't have stuff on the piano. Do we listen? No. I come across as bossy. And I know that and I own that. And I'm okay with it.
Some people, rightly so, they're very talented, but their ego started getting in the way. And there's been some friction there.
Jay, right here next week.
You need to have a group of people who trust each other. The minute that is lost, then you lose the ability to build something together.
The members of My Mother Thinks I'm on Main Stage now have just 2 weeks left to put the pieces back together. Their next performance will have to count when the head of Second City's legendary main stage stops in to catch the show. October 28th, 2002. The current graduating class at the Second City Training Center is coming apart at the seams. Different styles, different personalities, different views of comedy itself are threatening the trust and teamwork that sketch comedy demands.
As far as the show goes, it's a little frustrating because I think that it's just not very polished, and I don't think anybody's going to make the effort to polish it.
Some people have alienated themselves from the rest of the class. And I think it's unfortunate.
The group has only 2 more chances to perform, and tonight they have to get it right.
Tonight's show is the 3rd of 4 shows. It's like sink or swim, or united we stand, divided we fall. Nobody wants to see the show fail.
Everyone is on edge. They all know that Kelly Leonard, Second City's main stage producer, is scouting talent from the director's booth.
I look for a great actor. I look for a great improviser. I looked for someone who's very funny. And then there's the X factor. It's that thing that makes you not take your eyes off of the performer when they're on the stage.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you for coming out tonight. We are My Mom Thinks I'm on Main Stage. We now take you to a truck stop in Texas.
The things at the start of the show were tight.
Biff and Jeff love the freedoms of the fatherland, the homeland. And that's why they put terrifying terrorists in jail. Or just shoot them.
They were well done. I mean, everyone had high energy, and it just, from there on, it snowballs.
I will now present to you a scene that was improvised ahead of time.
Are ready?
So your teeth are yellow, your nose too wide.
Tonight, when I was on stage, I owned the stage, and I had presence, and after every verse, I got this laugh, and it was a big laugh.
It's time to lower your standards, take a look in the mirror. You make Janet Reno seem high. You're just playing your own game.
It was amazing, and it was like, talk about adrenaline and just a rush, and you just feel loved, and it's really cool.
Dog-footed head, you're wearing pimple popping, John is written, ugly mother like me.
Everything and everybody in the cast was so firing on all cylinders.
We've never kissed.
I had tried to inoculate my mother by saying that there was a scene that was a little shocking, and I was involved in it. After the show, she said, "So who was that boy you kissed?" And I'm like, "Mom, it's just Patrick. He's a good guy, friend of mine. We happened to kiss.
You are a good kisser, man.
It's no big deal." I mean, actually, right now, it's not a big deal. I have kissed Patrick more than I have kissed anybody else over the last... Well, I don't need to say it.
It's a hard goth life for us. It's a hard goth life for us. Pale face and black and lips. Study collars, chains and whips. It's a hard goth life.
The goth piece that closed the show, I thought was terrific.
It seems like we're always sad and crying. But it feels like we're always so depressed. Why are we obsessed with ways of dying? It's easier than cardiac arrest.
I can't believe we hadn't thought of that, before, because, it's funny, and it's a great dress up, and it really killed.
Santa Claus, we realize, was Satan in disguise. Religion was a bunch of lies. It's a hard goth life.
Tonight is the kind of night that I perform for. It was a blast.
Overnight, but hey, you're on Jeopardy. All right.
I'm coming out with a cold now, and I was like, ugh. But it went great. I am still just like buzzing.
Of course you want your things to go well in the show, but it feels so good when everybody does a good job. And 13 people that you've been taking classes with for a year knock it out of the park.
Maybe it was something I did
this week that I didn't do last week.
I wish I knew what, made one show better than the other, what made everyone fall into place and everything click.
You can tell because people who haven't normally been talking, or, you have people say, to people they don't generally work with, hey, nice work, good show. It feels better to be a team.
I did know that Kelly Leonard was upstairs watching. Norm mentioned that before the show, which made me chuckle a little bit. There's cameras. I think I'll come watch the show. But it's not like there's going to be a message on my answering machine from him when I get home saying, get to the main stage, we need you now.
I did know that Kelly Leonard was watching the show tonight. I started to think too much and stuff like that. Things like Kelly Leonard, people are watching the show, this better be good, because, it all comes down to this moment.
I found out after the show, he came backstage.
She was here who watched your show.
You guys did great.
Thank
Really
you.
good job. The God piece was terrific, and I can't believe we haven't done it.
He said hi, and then real fast, and told us a good show, and then he went back.
One final performance lies ahead for the group, graduation night. For the members of My Mother Thinks I'm on Main Stage, a year and a half of training has all led up to this.
Here we are, it's closing night. And remember last week when I said, I feel something coming on?
November 4th, 2002. Graduation night for My Mother Thinks I'm on Main Stage, the Level 5 class at the Second City Training Center in Chicago. It's a full house. The audience is packed with friends and family, as well as a local agent, a Second City executive, and even a Hollywood talent rep.
And Friday night, my voice basically disappeared. Saturday, I didn't have a voice at all. It's kind of sad, it's my last night, and I sound like this. I probably would have it's gonna be the last time I sing my song. So I kind of, wanted to go out and really give it a final ending, but I'll do my best.
Dan Mel, get over here.
I knew I felt emptiness inside.
Sorry.
Go get your arm.
Go get it.
Yes, America, it's war! Dateline, Chicago, the Windy City. Scream all you like, Johnny Terror. The city will soon be safe from the likes of you. No one in here seems to be wearing any sort of deodorant, scented soap, anything like that. Except for maybe perfume.
Do you canoe?
No, I karate myself. All right, boys!
Hi.
Are you retarded?
Sometimes people say I'm a little slow. Show must go on. So, you gotta improvise. Imagine that in Second City, improvising. At the last minute, I had one of the waiters bring me a brandy sifter or snifter, and I poured some of this tea. It tastes horrible, it tastes like licorice, but it coats your throat really well. So I just poured some in and brought it on stage, and I was a 40-year-old drunk. I wish I had had a long cigarette. Just give your pimpled ass up to a gym. Alone where you stand is take a look in the mirror till back fat comes into style.
She was a trooper. I mean, that was great. That was a great showing by a performer. And then she got the acknowledgement from the audience when they could kind of tell that she had a cold, that she nailed that song anyway.
Melissa's a talent. She's got a definite TV quality. I mean, to me, I could see her, as that sassy office girl, and she's funny, and she's a good actor.
Funny women are very hard to come by. For some reason, I don't know, they're a commodity. So any woman who can really hit those different levels of comedy already has a leg up.
You'll be the favorite.
She showed a lot of confidence.
You need a certain ego to go on stage live, be it for comedy, be it for dramatic, be it even for Shakespeare, which is something that a lot of people, until you say action, you don't know what abilities they have.
She's the one I'm going to be looking at auditions.
You ever see a green light flashing just telling you to go, go, go?
Jay, he's smart.
He certainly showed a variety of things on stage.
He was the one standard that took each scene through, and he really was kind of the backbone of the whole show tonight.
A couple quick things. Alex is going to be down here in about 5 minutes to meet you guys. Did everyone have a chance to look over interfacing with Alex Trebek, a guide to a safe and happy relationship with Alex?
Whether he's got the thing that can take it to the next level, I don't see that yet, but I would not rule it out.
Obviously part of a subversive, seditious terrorist cell for which he will be interrogated and incarcerated indefinitely.
I think he's so self-motivated that I don't feel like he has to be in this building at all. I think he can generate his own work anywhere.
My hand's on your knee.
Yes, it is.
Right there. Anything? It's just hands.
We've known each other for a while. You can move that puppy up.
One of my favorite bits was the guys who've never kissed.
Of all the students in the level 5, David got my attention. He's got like a David Schwimmer-like quality about him.
Dude, you got nice hands. I don't know, and you're not a bad kisser. I don't know what Wendy was talking about. She just did not know.
Don't know yet what I would do with him, except encourage this guy to keep going. And might even bring him in on an audition.
If he gets on film once, he'll never stop working.
Give me the movies tonight, back row. You sit right behind me every Thursday.
Well, just for that, I'm not going to go because the thrill is gone.
He showed a lot of confidence on stage, somebody that I could foresee being able to certainly have a success in commercials.
If he sticks at this and knows how to use that, that's going to be great. That's going to get him places here.
Unless somebody stole
So tonight was our last show, the last performance of My Mom Thinks I'm on Main Stage.
You did exactly what you needed to do. Very proud of both of you guys. You went through a process. You both classes know how to put together a review show as an ensemble, so it's got the voice of your ensemble, whether you love your ensemble or not.
This is the only time this t-shirt is ever made is for the people who graduate from the training center.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because once you take out the future, we were all having a pretty good time. I thought, I was like, oh, there's, what were squabbles about?
This is it.
Melissa, come and get your shirt.
I've been here for over a year now in my safe little cocoon of the Second City Training Center, where everybody's pretty nice and it's a supportive place going out into the big bad world.
I'm both really happy to be done with it and have my Monday nights back, but it's also sad.
What am I gonna do next Monday night?
Anything you do regularly for 2 years and then stop is going to be somewhat of a void. But ultimately, you can't be in school forever.
The biggest thing I got out of this experience was confidence.
You realize that these people you spent all this time with are now going to go back to where they came from, and that this camaraderie sort of evaporates. And, that for a moment in time, this was like a real special thing. Now it's over.